This is the market update. Will they do it? Will they not do it? As in, light the fuse and blow things up in the Middle East. Honestly, here's my leaning. If they were going to do it, they'd be radio silent. There wouldn't be all this talking, right? Before things like this happen, everything goes dead quiet. Now, the markets are dead quiet because the markets don't know what to do. So really, if you're going to make a market call, you have to make a geopolitical call. If they don't do it by Sunday, the next event, most likely, as we told people in Patreon, will more than likely be some type of false flag operation, meaning some sort of event that's blamed on one group that may not be done by one group that tries to start the whole thing. Meanwhile, everyone comes to their senses as the political winds clearly blow against the orange man, against doing this, period, and against the people behind it. It's a really weird world, and we discussed this in Patreon and in the YouTube member podcast. We just talked about it, on the show we did right before this. Who exactly are the bad guys here? Growing up, the Iranian regime was clearly not the good guys. But the American right-wing rebellion against Israel is epic. It's getting epic. Like all the different factions, even the intelligence community through Tucker Carlson is in on it. So Toby weighed in on this, and Toby's had to call from the beginning. Everyone got all wound up. Oil went up for like 2 days. The stock market should go down and doesn't. I want to do Bitcoin and antivirus. I want to I want to paint my face orange and do antivirus and John McAfee forever. I just look at this and I'm just like, blank you, full out cyberpunk rebellion, buy crypto, go to hell. I know that that's probably not good for TV broadcasting, but that's becoming my attitude. Because to scare everybody like this, to have special interests clearly as active as they are, and have no one care about the special interests and how we get treated, like this is a whole other level, right? I get on the show every day and I say, are sovereigns acting in your interest? Now I'm really actually starting to believe in this like almost anti-human agenda. Like, who does all this serve, right? And every Bitcoin block that gets mined, and every day that antivirus holds its ground, right? And every time they get a McAfee video out, whether it's AI McAfee or, the shorts McAfee made back in the day before anybody made shorts, right? I just get more and more and more convinced that not only do you have to be in crypto, but that you have to listen to the YouTube member podcast and you have to listen to Toby talk about the importance of crypto. And then when you look at the geopolitical noise, my eventual conclusion is, these special interests and these characters in Washington who want all this stuff, let's just go in a complete opposite direction. Because as one podcaster said, Bitcoin and the current legacy system are not compatible. We will discuss stable coins. You want the bottom line on stable coins? I'll give it to you. Somebody said it and it's genius. Okay. Who creates money in the United States? The Fed. Who creates debt? The Treasury. Thanks to stable coins, right? The Treasury can issue debt to stablecoin providers. This allows the Treasury to use debt to create money. Now you're like, okay, Bill, what does that mean? We have 2 money printers in the United States now. We have 2. One can do QE. They can both do QE. There's $200 billion in stable coins right now. Bassett wants $4 trillion. $4 trillion, right? $4 trillion coming to crypto. That's not to mention the, however many trillions there are out there now in pension funds that are coming to MicroStrategy and related equities. Like my conviction on Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy just went way up. Like I used to be hedge funds are probably going to get their faces ripped off on that short. They're definitely going to get their faces ripped off on that short, especially after watching all of this nonsense, right? And then you look at what's going on in Silicon Valley. AI is either an unprofitable bubble. I mean, it'll eventually be profitable, but everybody thinks like the dawn of the new age is here, and they're stumbling over themselves, spending so much money. I don't know. It's time to start raising an eyebrow at literally everything you're being told, which is frankly why Bitcoin at 100K is too cheap and AIntivirus at 3 million is too cheap, because it is time to push back against the system. It is time to get privacy. See this thing about 16 million passwords or whatever it is, all of a sudden disappeared. Hearing stuff online about, North Korea trying to hack everybody in crypto. Come on, man. Come on. Right? At what point do we say enough is enough and get profitable doing it? Right? Get outside the system, because the system is hopelessly corrupt. So let's be happy. Let's go somewhere else now. Okay, let's welcome who's here. Right? BJ Tremp on the stream. What's up? Right? Tremp is a disaster. Surprised many people didn't anticipate it. Dude, I don't know what's going on, but it's like World Wrestling Federation. Art is here. What's going on holiday in Greece? What's up? Bull Runner, Big Rich. What's going on? Grandpa Keeter, Loyal Warriors watching both streams. Indie Rock Crypto, Felix, a new name, Droz Dijos, welcome. Forget About It is here. A1, Lee J, Suncatcher Hawaii, a member. Gion, a member. Rave Song Records, loves the new time slot. I'm glad. I am glad. News. Let's go. So how's everything going in Web 2? How they doing over there? Gee, we got $100 million pay packages for scientists. Interesting. Then we got allegedly another AI company, Microsoft, doing 8,000 people. 8,000 layoffs. That's a lot of people. Okay. These guys are doing it in like $8,000 and $10,000 increments and using the fact that the Fed doesn't cut rates, right, as cover. Now, the spending is switching from people to Skynet. That's one way to look at it. That seems to be logical. And as one guy put it, I sort of agree with it. He's calling it a silent recession. I think our labor market is, the word I would use is, it's a mess. No one wants to hire. There's no job creation. And all of the spending on data centers, yes, it lifts GDP, which keeps us out of a recession in academic terms. But what exactly is happening to people, right? Like, at what point do we all look at this and go, I'm at the mercy of my employer. Uncle Sugar reserves the right to shoot oil up to $300 to make some BS lobby happy. What's up with that? Right? What is up with that? And when is enough enough? I would say, right about now. Right about now. And again, this whole AI thing, they're building a lot of cool stuff. Yeah, I'm using it. I'm using it, right? Seriously, Unhinged Crypto Inc. is using it literally all day long. So it's not that it's not happening and that it's not useful. It's just that what are we pricing it at? And is it good for humanity? I'm starting to think no. In like a psychological way. You see this thing yesterday where it's like affecting people's cognitive ability, where like, Gen Z can't, decide whether they're going to have chicken or beef. They got to ask the machine. I don't know. It's just making me happy that while we're going through all this, there's another Bitcoin block being mined, right? There's another group of guys out there tweeting about antivirus, right? There's another movie, another video, another cartoon, another meme, right? Another McAfee video. Like, I feel like it's inevitable. Okay, so Elon downplays the importance of Doge, and he says that doesn't matter versus the coming AI tsunami. So you pushed me out. Now I'm going to join the tech bros, and I'm going to join the race to play God. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's not like they're not telling you. It's not a secret. They're telling you. They're telling you. And I swear to God, the only way out is like Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, all these networks that are going to be running legacy in the future. All this money that's coming in via stable coins, all the debt that they want to create. It's like they're behaving irresponsibly and flooding crypto with money at the same time. Right? And if you're still one of the people who are on the employment wagon, you got to get your money in crypto. You got to. I know you do because you're listening to the show. But if this is like the first time you've heard anything about crypto, you got to get busy now. Right? While everyone's asleep at the wheel watching World Wrestling Federation or, whatever lobby. I don't even know if I can talk about it without getting the stream shut off. U.S. continuing jobs claims are now at their highest level since 2021. So, in other words, the labor market is such, and this is why the Fed is just, abominable. Abominable. The labor market is so horrendous that if you lose your job, you can't get another one. Or if you lose your job, the next job is like, 4 rungs down the ladder. Right? It's not like I just got laid off and I'm filing my initial claim for unemployment. It's how long am I staying on it? Right? And who knew that the AI job, problem was going to start with the money that's being flooded into data centers? That's what's happening. Like, they're being forced to spend indiscriminately on data centers, nuclear power, electricity, and humans are. Okay, well, I got news for you. We're going to do crypto, and one day you are going to be, and the list of yous is long. Federal government revenue has increased 60% to $5 trillion, while government spending has increased 97% to over $7 trillion. So we doubled the national debt in 10 years. Initial unemployment claims in Washington, Maryland, and Virginia are exploding, right? Absolutely exploding. Yay, Doge. Yes and no, right? Yes and no. Yeah, you want to downsize the government. Yeah, you don't necessarily feel sorry for all these high-end characters. But why do I get the feeling that the high-end characters are still at the trough feeding like pigs, and this continuing claims thing is like the small guys who are earning $70K? Why do I think that? You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know who got laid off or who got pushed out. We don't know. We don't. But, obviously they laid off all these people. And obviously, the orange man is up to his hips in deep state BS. Because, his behavior, it's like he's out of his mind. During the campaign, he was like this stream of consciousness, bring America back kind of a guy. And now it's like he's completely compromised. or he's an imbecile. The optics are just, I mean, this is why Bitcoin doesn't go down. I mean, Bitcoin could go down if stonks go down and oil goes to 100, and we've covered that. But, I mean, they're going to call for the cards this weekend, right? They said, well, he's going to do it this weekend. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. Okay, again, brought this up multiple times. 16% of Americans and 19% of his own base don't want it. Now, if there is some good news about this, really, I'm just going to say it. How would you stop AIPAC? How would you stop this lobby that seems to drive our policies through, frankly, campaign contributions and fear of their intelligence service, combined with the influences of like the billionaires that are at the top that also support the agenda? How would you bust that? Well, I don't know. Maybe you would set us up for World War III and have everybody start asking, how did we get here? Which is exactly what's happening. So if the orange man does, in fact, wait 2 weeks, he could be watching the tide of public opinion and outrage turn against the people who are pressuring him. Now, what that argues for is not necessarily a huge geopolitical event and world war right this second. That does argue for an eventual false flag. Again, I'm giving it away, but I mean, this was discussed in Patreon reports that I gave to both Platinum and the 6th Street Crypto middle tier. And we discussed it today on the YouTube member stream. Like, what's more likely, all-out war or a false flag? Either way, we're all sick. We're all sick of this, right? And again, I just keep thinking, it's like, how do I make myself happy? There's another Bitcoin block being mined, right? Every time you mine a block of Bitcoin, per this podcast that the Eagle King gave me, it's like Legacy gets one fewer day, one fewer month, one fewer year, right? It's like crypto is eventually just like kind of taken over for every block that they make. For every block that they make. And it's to the point where like Coinbase is turning to Arrow, banks are going to turn to ETH. Like, everyone's got to get off that elevator and get on the crypto elevator. And I swear, if they actually do something stupid and give you a dip, it's not going to last long. It's that stupid. Seriously. Okay, so conservative influencers are fighting with each other. Everyone is now walking around going, hey, how much money are you taking from such and such lobby, which I've already mentioned. The one guy that's not taking money from these people who they tried to stop and can't, he doesn't understand why people in Congress are supporting this. No one campaigned on it. No one. No one wants it. But they're probably afraid for their own safety and for their families. It's not just about money, just in case you're wondering. It can't be, right? Like, say the orange man goes along with this all the way. He's afraid for his family. I mean, either he's an imbecile, which, that I can't argue against that thinking, but he could also be afraid for his family. And that's why people are sick of this. They're sick of it politically. And I'm looking at this going, oh my God, I want to buy a stunk of a bunch of guys who are, firing everybody to build something that, I don't know, like McAfee said it yesterday on a short. It's like, whatever they're building is eventually going to be telling us what to do. Like, we're using it now and that's great, but where does that all lead? And I'm going to buy stonks in that company? Okay, well, you might make money. You made money over the last 7 years, but, basically it's like, no way, man. I'd rather take my chances with, frankly, some Hershey Kiss coin, right? That might actually help me be free, or at least get me involved in a decentralized way where, Skynet or AIPAC or whoever doesn't own it all. Doesn't own it all. Like, who owns what here? Who owns me? Who owns you? Who owns your money? Like, you work hard and they're paying you in crap that gets devalued by 2 giant government agencies. Yay for stable coins. Yeah, okay. Yay for the liquidity. It just makes it easier for everybody to get over here. But don't kid yourself. The only reason they did it and everybody wanted to sign it is because they keep the sugar and the fake paper pouring into the system. It's like, oh, okay. Crypto and you are not going to, one of the groups is going to be around in 3, 5, and 10 years or 50 years. If you're 30 years old, you got to be listening to this and you got to be in crypto. Period. If your portfolio goes down in dollar terms, who cares? I mean, yes, there are altcoins that are going to crash. Projects aren't going to make it. I understand that. But it's like I'm getting more and more aggressive and just adamant about this. Like I want to be Batman and just go punch the Joker. That's how over it I am, right? And this kid, this kid's going to be the 6 o'clock news, right? This guy, and Alex Jones is following him, and he's got 4 million Twitter followers. It's a question of time because this kid's been railing on these special interest groups. Forever. Seriously, for 8 years. Debanked, no fly list, the works. Vindicated literally on everything. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and this kid gets paid for his hats in Bitcoin because he was debanked. I'm waiting for this kid to say crypto forever, or he's waiting for somebody over in crypto to start saying it. I'll start saying it. Ted Cruz. Oh my God. A Texas senator used the Bible to justify what's going on here. Like Dan used the Bible to figure out when these things would happen. But to justify the kind of carnage that they're talking about doing, is there any shame? Oh, here comes another thing that'll do wonders for my YouTube views. U.S. will likely fight a 3-front war against the Russians, the Chinese, the Iranians, says the guy who's head of Palantir. Really, it should say elements inside Uncle Sugar's government want to fight, blah, 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 blah. Right? And the only people that are against what's going on in the Middle East are the ones who want to fight the big powers. The number one American export is war. We just want it. We don't want it. They want it. RealFly showed a statistic. We spent $20 trillion on this stuff. And they want to just keep on going, right? Because everyone's afraid for your family. It's easy to say, oh, well, you should stand up and fight this. And, shame on you for taking their money. Dude, it's probably a lot more than that. You got kids, you got a wife. You know what I'm saying? They want to give you money. You're going to take the money. You're going to save your kid and your wife, and you're going to vote however they want you to vote, right? How many people are going to stand up? How many people were with Thomas Massie on trying to get legislation to put the brakes on this? Nobody. The only one who's big enough to stop it is the Orange Man. And he has a lot, he loves his family. He's got a beautiful wife. He's got nice kids. He's got grandkids. That's what this is really all about, right? It's about control and coercion. Coercion was a big word that I was taught in business school 25 years ago. Coercion. Crypto gets you out of coercion because no matter how much Bitcoin BlackRock buys, and even if they try to use derivatives to suppress it, I don't know. Theoretically, they can do that. They can't stop it, dude. There's no way. Orange Man has already greenlit the whole thing. Everyone's just waiting for their final orders. Or so they tell you, right? And then, it's like, oh, yeah, Israel says we're in within 24 to 48 hours. Seymour Hersh says we'll begin this weekend. Then, we'll do it in 2 weeks, right? We'll do it in 2 days. We'll do it any minute now. Well, we'll do it in 2 weeks. And there'll be a false flag in 2 weeks, and then they'll decide what they're really going to do. Meanwhile, we're just going to sit here and live with the uncertainty, at which point, per what's gone on into the Patreon Platinum area is that, and Toby said it, what is going to happen here? This is the commercial. What is going to happen here when the energy of this shifts? Like, you could have a scare. I still think there's a Cuban Missile Crisis angle on this. And when they get done scaring you, what are you going to do? What are you going to buy? What are you going to get after? What are the machines going to buy? Right? Who's coming into DeFi and how hard? Look at Coinbase FOMOing into their own DeFi, which is about time. Jesus. You know what I'm saying? It's funny how that works, right? Circle goes public. Kraken's going to go public. Gemini's going to go public. All of a sudden, Coinbase goes, maybe we should trade on Base instead of listing meme coins to dump on retail. I love how the market imposes discipline. Bitcoin is eventually going to impose discipline, and I hope AIntivirus goes with it. Yes, I own the coin. Yes, it's near and dear to my heart, but every time I listen to John McAfee speak, I'm like, I swear to God, how can I be more like him? Then I realize it's like, hey, dude, you have a 1-hour show every day. You have a 1-hour show that 1,000 people watch every day. To all those 1,000 people, to the Market Update Nation, here's to you. Enough of this. Enough. False flag coming. Hezbollah threatens U.S. bases. Blah, blah, blah. Right? Everybody wants something bad to happen, and something bad will happen. And I hope we take one look at it and go absolutely get bent and moon whatever we can. Just moon it all. Look at this. I know I talked about this already. So many people trying to get out of the dollar and get into Swiss franc. That's, the supply of Swiss francs coming into Switzerland is so high, rates are at 0. Sorry, we can't pay any interest on this. We got too many. The supply of money is too high. Therefore, the price of money goes to 0. And the government securities are probably negative, meaning I will pay you to hold my Swiss francs. I will pay you to hold my money. Right? And there's any talk about, like, for example, the XRP nonsense is insane, right? Like, the Circle IPO went to like some stratospheric price, and XRP did nothing. Nothing. Right? Because we're all sitting around watching, World Wrestling Federation, Gunpoint Edition. I mean, if you can, have Circle go up 300%, what can you do with XRP, with XRP Ledger and all this other stuff? And the same thing goes for Solana and ETH. It's all dead. Are you crazy? Right. And it's not to mention the fact that, you could wind up like, if you look at Bitcoin layer 2s, like if you look at STX, right, which I don't mind telling you, like our models keep spitting out STX, STX, STX. Right. I mean, what happens if they start running the internet on Bitcoin? What happens? Look at this. Breaking from the Eagle King, publicly traded Semler Scientific is going to buy 10 billion. Like, if your main business model isn't working, like MicroStrategies wasn't, they're just going to turn themselves into Bitcoin hedge funds. They don't care. And I don't blame them. I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to buy a piece of this network. Come get me. It's like, if Bitcoin is like the new internet, if Bitcoin is the primary computer network of the future, people are just going to be like, I'm buying in and I don't have to be upset. Like I just watched the podcast again with some Bitcoin maximalist, right? The guy sounds like Eckhart Tolle. He's like, yes, the present, Bitcoin is so the future that I just have to sit here and relax. I don't have to worry about anything. I just have to make sure I participate in the network. Whether that means buying Bitcoin and holding it or going to Stake and Shake, participate in the Bitcoin network as much as you can. And that goes for the whole crypto ecosystem. Now, I know everyone is trying to make 100x. And, to a certain degree in human nature, that's understandable. But then again, there has to be kind of an awakening where you say, how can I do something meaningful? How can I get how can I get beer money in Bitcoin? I mean, I signed up for this thing that was advertised on this podcast. I can't remember what the name of it is. You connect your bank account directly and they send Bitcoin to your cold wallet. No exchange, nothing. And supposedly, I didn't know this. I'm just going to pass it on to you. Forgive me if you already know this, but like you can do something like run a Bitcoin node. Like I thought that meant you were like mining. No, if you have a Bitcoin node, that means, you can run transactions and only your node sees it. It's like privacy in a way. I was like, oh, if I got that right. If I don't, please comment down below. But I mean, like, a knuckle dragger like me may actually try that, scrape the money together and take a shot at that. Why not? Right? Because it's about network participation. Now, this guy, it's called Bitcoin Well. No affiliation, zero. This is the thing. I just missed it. Zero affiliation with this. I just tried this. Bitcoin to a non-custodial wallet. Wow. Like talk about putting your beer money in. Just put your beer money and send it to a cold wallet. I mean, I wish I could do the same thing with AIntivirus. Really? Okay, so stable coins. Like it or not, the biggest money printer in human history is right behind crypto. Okay? Is right behind crypto. And this thing with Besant, which I just lost. Okay, Besant and Circle and all these laws that have been passed are absolute money printing free-for-alls. Money printing free-for-alls. Besant wants 3 trillion in stable coins. Here it is. Eagle King. Genius. Right? Quietly, believe it or not, saving the dollar and saving the treasury market. Quietly. Right? Proliferate stable coins and I can print money. I can print 4 trillion with stable coins. And when this amount of money comes in, it's literally like legacy. It's like an escape hatch. Right. And of course, it's also a CBDC because they're going to track everything you do with it, which is why as soon as you get it, you dump it and you get involved in something else. You got $4 trillion coming in and no one is interested in the tech part of crypto. Everybody's interested in buying a scam stock like Microsoft that tells you it's AI when it's not. It's not. Right? It's just not. %30 of all US dollars were created in the last 5 years. Okay. Cough, cold, and flu, PSYOP. Print money, PSYOP. Control you, PSYOP. Right? Bring in 20 million people who don't live here, PSYOP. Crush wages, PSYOP. Lay you off to build data centers, PSYOP. Like at what point does a guy like me start sacrificing views and subscribers to not go off the deep end, but to tell people that like, this is not, I mean, this goes even beyond what I thought it was going to be, right? It does. And it's getting to the point where, like, I can't even understand why it's at 57. I mean, I understand why it's at 57 because everyone's afraid that, you know, World War Z is going to come and it's going to be the end of days. But I mean, they've already got side chains going for Bitcoin, right? Stablecoin chain number 1 after getting $1 billion in deposits. You know, Bitcoin DeFi. I mean, you realize if they get stuff going on Bitcoin and they get stuff going on ETH and they get stuff going on Solana, that you could run all the internet and all the finance probably on those 3 chains. And you start throwing in like XRP Ledger and something that's wicked fast, like SUI or Injective, right? Each one of these things could have their own thing. Like Injective could be popular with machines. Just tell you right now in Patreon Platinum, it's like, you know, the GAN model just can't get enough of Injective. You know, I put in social metrics from Lunar Crush. I say use the GAN stuff in the Lunar Social Crush, and it spits out top 2 picks are Arrow and Injective. And then there's 8 more picks in there, right? The model just keeps spitting it out. This GAN model that I got going on. It's absolutely crazy, right? This is, you know, AI used for our benefit for crypto, right? Grant Cardone can't stop buying Bitcoin. Again, a real estate guy. Remember Michael Saylor in digital property? Just can't get enough. Can't get enough. Interesting geopolitical breaking news from the Eagle King. Don't be fooled. Israel is in worse shape than people think. 1/3 of Tel Aviv has been damaged. Okay? Their aircraft are being flown to Cyprus. The Iranians are not finished. So again, this speaks to our involvement. But don't you see I mean, even this guy is not probably pro this whole conflict. But it's like everything that's coming out is like, oh, well, we have to get involved now because, right? Everything is we have to get involved now because, and frankly, I just don't believe any of it anymore. Okay. Elon wants your money running on Twitter, a digital wallet, peer-to-peer payments with Visa as the first partner. You know what? GFU. If you're not running Dogecoin and you're not running Bitcoin or you're not running something like that, or if you're not running a stable coin that I can't dump for something else on your platform, have a nice day. You're just collecting my data. GFU. Solana treasury firm with 420,000 SOL files for U.S. NASDAQ listing, right? I love the idea of crypto firms coming to legacy, sucking as many dollars as they can up and dumping it for crypto. Michael Saylor said this. He said some sovereign's going to do it. Whoever does it is going to be in good shape. Whoever doesn't do it is not going to be in good shape. And if you don't believe me, you better dial up and listen to Toby Ward lay it down for you, right? Lay it down for you in the YouTube member area. I mean, I know that I get kind of crazy banana pants, you know, decorating thumbnails to get the maximum amount of attention possible. But I mean, you know, she's been telling you for 2 years, right? And it inspires me so she can pick coins and tells you how it is in a way that, you know, she was anointed boss today. Can someone explain to me how a Russian citizen is in France with a court case and he's allowed to go to Dubai before he returns to France where his case is ongoing? I mean, if they can do it to this guy, they can do it to anybody, and they will do it to anybody, especially if you start listening to McAfee on TikTok. That's crazy. He just like lays it down. You know, it's like in those Terminator movies where the Terminator would sit down and just like explain what was going to happen. And I just look at this and I'm like, you know, talking to the head of the project, he's like, you know, we got a whole bunch of stuff coming up. This guy does nothing but build things. This is like privacy or us. You know what I'm saying? Like McAfee's right. The AI McAfee is right. You know, let them eat white noise. Let them eat white noise. I am just at a point where I am like, this thing being at 3 million, like what is going to happen when people come into crypto and they want to like, you know, they go into crypto and they're like, I'm sick of this. Particularly if there's like more violence that actually affects us. Like what is going to happen when people really get sick of this? Right? Why? And of course, this speaks to a reason why Coinbase is finally off its duff with Arrow and Base getting that connected. I mean, why is it that I have to go to I have to log into Coinbase and trade there. And then if I want to go to Base, I got to go on my phone, open my Coinbase wallet, even though it's super convenient, right? Pull ETH in via Base and then trade. Why not just have the whole thing? Like click to trade on Base, click trade. Wow. How long's that been around? Like 2 years? And they're just getting to it now. Well, that's great, guys. But what happens when people come in and I was like, I'm sick of this. I'm done. I mean, again, you know, like Fuentes is going mainstream. You know, Tucker in his way is trying to come along, even though he has an agenda. They all have agendas. What's the agenda for us? Too many working holidays, costing our country billions. This is almost like they have a special meeting where they say, what's the dumbest thing we can say today to get attention? I mean, these guys were so popular. I mean, they are following a classic playbook. It doesn't matter whether you win or lose as long as you irritate everybody. Okay? But there's going to come a point. Okay, oil, right? So Brent crude, which is crude for delivery in London, was way up. And then when they saw it way up, they backed off, right? It's almost like they're watching Bloomberg, right? Stocks down, oil up. It goes from imminent 48 hours to 2 weeks. Part of me thinks they're actually doing this by the seat of their pants. They're deploying all the military. They're still shooting at each other. They're menacing each other. And then Trump's going to do TACO, which stands for Trump always caves, based on whatever goes on in markets. That's what it feels like. Now, the other thing that I think is unbelievable, Toby weighed in on this. I don't know what's going on in Bitcoin Cash, but whatever it is, they're like trying to break it out. They're not trying to break it out. They broke it out. Now, Toby was like, I'm not necessarily in love with this, but somebody is moving money around using this because this stuff is bid only. Now, again, with these darling coins that I love, like Bitcoin Cash, I call it the Roger Ver meme coin, Zcash, Litecoin. When these coins outperform, generally, it's not market positive. It's not, historically speaking. But it's also very clear that as soon as we stand down from, say, the apocalypse, right? As soon as we stand down from, you know, it's going to be terrible, altcoins pop. Altcoins want to go up. And the reasons that they want to go up are in the platinum member area and in the YouTube member podcast, right? Every single time they stop the apocalypse, like, you know, ETH, you know, slam it, base, right? XRP, you know, doing nothing but on top of support. Bitcoin, 13 bottom, no downside follow through, no upside follow through. you know, sometimes you get a lurch lower on these things if they do scare everybody. But if they do scare everybody, my attitude is just like, you. Seriously. Done. Like, you know, I got to be honest. Like, I don't know who in this environment unloaded antivirus to that degree. What? You were upset that they put McAfee videos on TikTok? What? Right? Like, tell me ways like Bitcoin Cash, push against the system. Antivirus, push against the system. Monero, I don't know where Monero is, but Monero was up before this whole thing started. Let me do it over here. Like Coinbase's stock, right? Hey, look what happens. We get our act together. Whoop. Crypto equities, man. I'm telling you. I mean, now everyone's hip to it, right? Everyone's like, oh, wow, such and such IPO. Oh, wow, Circle. I mean, the smart money's taking profits in Circle, and I don't blame them, right? And that's, you know, that's a retarded valuation, excuse me, for a stablecoin company. But, you know, Monero was up. I mean, Monero launched itself in April, right? I mean, people were just like, I don't know, this is the AI thing. I don't know what this is. Or people in the Middle East moving money. That's what I think. Everyone's like, yeah, you know what? Let's get as private as possible. You know, the oppressors are getting as private as possible. What are you doing? What are you doing? Right? And the other thing I keep coming back to, you know, it is crypto equities, but you know, if Coinbase is moving, one day it's going to be this. It's going to be the biggest short squeeze in a long time, right? Because, you know, if every time you mine a Bitcoin block, it's like a countdown to some legacy nuke, this guy's position and the size of the position can't be replicated anywhere. It's a moat around the business. Was talking about this like a month ago, and I think it's time to start talking about it again. Because, you know, if you go look, you know, if you go look at QQQ, I mean, okay, well, you know, tech stocks can always go up. I know they have AI. I can talk whatever I want to say about it. But, you know, these guys are masters of the universe. But I mean, who's buying this stuff up here? Like, what is the case? You know, you're buying it like right into the face of the premium zone with the VIX Fear Volatility Index perched close to its 200-day moving average after one of the biggest pukes in fear ever. The biggest risk to crypto is stonks. Or everyone just gets off the stonk train and just is like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done with poor returns. I'm done with getting chopped up. There's so much more exciting stuff in crypto. Really don't put it in the news anymore. BlackRock buys ETH every single day. Every single day, they're just hoovering the supply of this stuff off the market. And really, it's this simple. Okay, are they going to do it this weekend? My vote would be no. If they don't do it this weekend, then 2 weeks from now, you'll have your scare. You'll have your Cuban Missile Crisis staring contest, and then something scary will happen, and then they'll make a decision, and most likely, I think, Trump tacos. Now, if Trump doesn't taco, then you're going to have consternation. That's obvious. In my opinion, if they do it, that red pills more and more and more people. And I think each day that goes by, you can just call it the Fuentes effect, right? All the stuff that these radical fringe guys have been saying, right? It's going more and more mainstream, right? To where those guys are probably going to wind up becoming the 6 o'clock news, right? Now, once people figure this out, and again, I keep trying, I'm in Austin, right? And whether it's talking about antivirus or it's talking about crypto, I just can't believe that, well, I can believe it because I'm a small fry. But I can't believe I can't get on Alex Jones's show to talk about McAfee or Bitcoin or crypto. It's like the guy's talking about pushing against the global world order. Bro, this is the push against the global world order show. This is the pro-human agenda. And I don't care if your bags are down. Sometimes you have to get rid of bad trades, but look at the people who hung in there in Arrow. Look at the people who hung in there in Chainlink from 2017, right? This is now about mindset. There is so much bunk, so much propaganda. And again, these are like McAfee words, right? Propaganda, lies, misdirection, fear, control, right? Like, who controls you? You know what the answer is? Nobody. You wake up in the morning, you look in the mirror and go, who controls you? The answer is nobody. And then you skip Starbucks, right? You have instant decaf instead, and you put $37 in Bitcoin at the end of the month, or $37 in whatever it is you want to own on Solana, right? And even if it's a meme coin, at least you're out there trying, right? We prefer quality, we prefer tech, but who cares, right? There is such a thing as an A for effort. There isn't an A for getting wrecked and being crazy with the rent money, but there is an A for effort. Please check out the YouTube member area. Please check out the Platinum group in Patreon, where the GAN model is changing research. Okay? GAN model is changing research. That is the market update for today. We will see you tomorrow.